So that's a good program they've got with the cleats for kids, and you can certainly help them out. We're at Snappy Tomato Pizza. Chris Brinkley here with the University of Tennessee at Martin Skyhawk Coaches Show. Coach Jason Simpson set to join us as UT Martin went down to Starkville, Mississippi. 61,421 fans. You're taking on the number one team in the country. And, Coach, some people weren't giving us a chance, as we both talked about going into that game. But what a nice showing there against maybe the most talented team we've ever faced.
No question. I mean, it obviously was. I mean, there's a lot of NFL guys on that field, and I was proud of the kids. And I told the team today, I said, guys, we're never going to go into a game not expecting that we have a chance to win. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just, the competitive fire comes out in you, and why do all this work if that's not what your thought is? But obviously in some places there was a lot of mismatches, and it's hard to move the football or stop people when you don't win enough individual battles. But I was proud of the kids. They, we showed some toughness.
Oh, yeah.
We played hard from start to finish. We competed. Boy, I wish we had a chance to keep them out of the end zone that last time, keep them in the 30s. When you go back and you look and you say, some things that we could have controlled better, and we busted some coverages and gave them, two big runs that I wish we could have made them snap the ball a few more times to get those couple touchdowns. And
one was to a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, that one, and then
Holloway.
Then Holloway, and we didn't fill the gap, and then we had miscommunications on a coverage one time and cut the guy loose. So, and then offensively, you might could have be honest with you, might could have got one more score.
Yeah.
There at the end, or maybe make it a 19 or 20 point.
Well, what I thought, and I kept saying this on the radio, and I was saying it in the fourth quarter. If they don't score in the fourth, and we get one more, the score is 38-24.
Yeah.
And when people see that on the ticker, they're going to say, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah. No, you're right, because it's kind of funny. I looked at some articles Sunday morning, whether it be, I don't know if it was a Jackson. I don't know what paper it was I looked at, and if you just see the final score, a couple of them said, MSU rolls over UT Martin and stuff like that. Which, if you see 45-16, you certainly think that, but we certainly had a lot of texts and a lot of people that followed us that care about Skyhawks and said, great effort and things like that. And so there was some we will grow from that. Mm-hmm. We'll grow from that. There was a lot of experiences. You can see the smiles on the kids' faces from the opportunity to compete in that environment. Match up with some guys they're going to see play on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I think it's some reality. It's some good learning experience from our young players. If God's given you the frame and you have that 6'3" frame, or you have that, you see the work you have to do in the weight room, because this is the guy that's going to get the job with the Philadelphia Eagles that you want. Mm-hmm. If you're not better than him somehow. And so, maybe that's some motivation where guys kind of get it's not about being our best players, it's about being the best in the OVC and the best, against anybody that we play. So it was a great experience. I wish we could have held it a little closer, but all in all, I thought the guys' fault.
Well, and when I was saying, when you consider all of the other things, and we don't talk about this a lot on the radio, but their budget, the number of scholarships, their ability to recruit, they're number one in the country. I mean, we really were at a disadvantage in many ways going into the game, and really competed. I mean, I thought head-to-head, especially. Let's just go through the game a little bit here. First quarter, the score is 7-3.
7-3, and their first touchdown was a long run by Prescott on the scramble. And we didn't balance the rush, and he came out of it, and he's faster than you think he is, and he's strong, and he ran through a couple arm tackles and scored. So, and then it's 7-3 at the end of the first quarter, and we're competing, and then doggone, they hit another one, first play of the second quarter, and kind of gave them, 14-3. But we were able to, go back to the first drive offensively. We ran the first play and we go incomplete. Matter of fact, we almost threw a pick. And luckily the guy was out of bounds.
Yeah.
But then you run the little off-tackle power play, and you push the ball for a first down, and kids started looking at each other saying, hey, we can block these guys. Mm-hmm. And Abu started getting downhill, and that was fun to see. So, I certainly think we earned some respect as far, at least from a run game standpoint, that we had some guys that could match up a little bit.
Yeah, and then they did, as you said, they scored 17 in the second quarter. That kind of separated a little bit. But, again, you're competing. And when we go back and look at the overall stats, statistically, we have more first downs than they did.
Well, I didn't realize that. It's 24-3 at the half. Mm-hmm. And, and I'm not – we really didn't – there was a couple series where I thought they really – pinned their ears back and got after us a little bit. There was one 3 and out to where I think we may have got 3 yards on 3 rushing attempts. But very difficult to score and flip the field when you can't pass protect.
Right.
Against him. When 91 would rush, he gave us fits.
Yeah.
And, the ball you had to max protection, run 2-man routes. Mm-hmm. And unless they busted a coverage, they could always have 3 defenders over our 2. And that makes it difficult to create any space. And, but you're running it enough to where, they're defending it, but they're not putting 8 guys in the box.
Right. Right.
So those are the pitfalls you run into. But there was many times that we got to some 3rd and 1s, mm-hmm. 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, and that's why you see a lot more first downs.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, in the game when you look at first downs, and I think I got the wrong stat sheet here, but I think we had 22 and they had 21 overall. And, I said that when you look at the stat sheet and you see that, especially in the first half, our quarterback's accuracy was low.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more to it than that.
Well, no, you're right. And I was on Jared's case a little bit. He's 1 of 6 now.
Yeah.
But there's 3 times those quarterbacks are getting hit and there's guys in their face because whenever they could get us to a long yardage, mm-hmm. And they widen those defensive ends out and they rushing our tackles, they gave us some problems. So no, you had to throw it on first down, but if you go incomplete, now you got 2 downs to pick it up, and therefore the percentages go lower. But no. And I was visiting with Charles Sweden a little bit earlier today as I watched the tape with the guys, and a lot of those defensive linemen, some of them from Mississippi State, were played against us in 2011. Mm-hmm. They've just several of them have put on 30, 40 pounds since then. Mm-hmm. They already were 6'5", 6'6", and now they're 275 to 300 something pounds. So it was, to give them credit, they've recruited well. They've got some outstanding players. When you saw a lot in the fourth quarter, when some of our second players were going against their second players, there was a lot. The margin for error was a little bit larger mm-hmm. than going against their first unit. And now they're young players. I don't know what age they were and stuff. So we were able to match up a little bit, maybe run the football. And Jared Neal led us to 2 scores there in that fourth quarter. Which was fun and some great memories for our guys.
Scored 13 points in the fourth. Final score 45-16 in that. Ben Axline with a 31-yard pass from Jared Neal. And then Jared Neal takes it in the end zone on a 1-yard run. But, yeah, I mean, overall, and the coach was very complimentary of you in his press conference, just saying how hard you play, how well UT Martin was coached, and he felt like they had to battle out there.
Well, I appreciate that from Coach Mullen. And first of all, let me say that they were first class in everything of how they treated us, the whole trip from the highway patrolman to getting us in and out on Friday afternoon and then getting there on Saturday. Their athletic director coming over and visiting with us and stuff, just really appreciated their fans were great. I mean, they cheered for them and didn't now I'm sure the Ole Miss people won't probably say the same. They won't say this, but it was a good environment. It really was. They treated our kids well and treated our staff well. And getting a chance to talk to Coach Mullen before the game, and of course he asked about how Dylan was doing, and we kind of talked about our season and their stadium, about how it had, it's a real SEC environment now. And I remember back 20 whatever years ago when I was there, you felt like that the SEC was doing us a favor by letting us stay in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you kind of did, because besides baseball, what exactly did they bring to the table? Mm-hmm. Besides a couple good years, maybe even UT Martin-ish in the OVC.
Yeah, right.
And then now, as the wins, the consistency of whether it was 7-5 or 6-6, or going to 4 bowl games in 4 straight years, winning 3 of them, and then you got a $74 million end zone for closed in part of the stadium. It is a real SEC stadium, and it's not as big as Alabama's, and it's not as big as LSU's. But when you put 60-some thousand people there and you put a cowbell in their hand, it sounds like it's 90,000 people.
No, it does, or more.
And it's a real SEC environment, and they ought to be proud of it. It's big time.
Absolutely. We'll take a break. We'll talk about some of the individual performances with Coach Simpson when we return. Final score in the game was Mississippi State 45, UT Martin 16, and we'll look back at the game on the Skyhawk Sports Network.